All right, hello, and welcome back to FOF Esports. We are underway in the quarterfinals, where in classic YUBI fashion, we have already guaranteed a longer set than the last series. I'm Anti, I'm being joined today by the wonderful Theracles.
Yeah, that's right. I'm coming down with a cough or something because it's about to be ill up in here. No.
Yeah, but either way, we only have three potential. Sorry, how many? So we're at game number 3 right now, so we only have 3 potential games left. We could get all the way up to a game 5. Who knows? But right now, this might look like some kind of interesting, familiar draft footage. It is not actually the correct one. We will be sent that one later on, whenever that one does come in. But as time will tell, it's only a matter of time, really, before we really see just how crazy these drafts are going to be. And here we go. We got Inavi and Broccoli once again facing off with a Fiora Camille matchup. We've seen this before. We saw Jaffe on it yesterday against Stormbless, and it didn't quite work out for Stormbless that time. But it's a question of, is Inavi's Fiora just as much of something to be feared as Broccoli's Camille?
Yeah, that's a great question. Especially in the first 2 games, we've actually seen a Navi on the Camille. So Broccoli taking it for himself this time is going to be a nice way to switch it up and, kind of maybe throw some salt in the wound if he can pull it off. There's been a lot of early jungle pressure from Utility Monster up in the top where we've seen it kind of swing back and forth. But I think for the most part, Broccoli's come on top most of these exchanges. So it's really exciting to see how that's going to shake up. Zen not going to be getting there all this time. So it looks like there's going to be a lot of champion swapping this time on that side as well. So overall, I'm also really liking the Swain pick. Could be something going for Civillock. He's kind of had quite a few banger games out of this season, so it'd be nice to see that.
Yeah, I mean, Civillock more than happy to be rocking that Swain. I mean, we've seen it time and time again how YUBI are more than happy to just put Civillock on a very stable laner, who's going to be able to have a lot of teamfight presence. Swain, very much the case as we continue to remove more things that make Swain's life a living hell, like the Victor, the Corki, the Syndra, the Jace, just trying to make sure that this champion first pick is going to work out just fine. And the Xerath has the response from Pagtropus. In the trees have been coming out with a few interesting picks lately where they're very meta progressive, I guess would be the way to put them, right? Like the Karma, like the Xerath, right? It's champions that you're not necessarily as used to seeing, but the Nocturne Galio coming in. Okay, so this is not going to be Civillock Swain. It is instead going to be Civillock on Galio duty. It's going to be the Birdio rocking up that mid lane, and Ultravox on the Swain. I'm certain that this is going to be the Nautilus Swain bot lane. Very interesting decision here.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, I don't know what to expect from Ultravox on a mage per se, so excited to see kind of how that shakes up. I do think that in the last game particularly, they had a lot of coordination issues for YUBI not being in the right place. So maybe these, Galio Nocturne picks will be able to minimize some of that and get them back on the same page together. And I think also more interesting is the Xerath pick too. We've seen a lot of Civillock being on the mage that's kind of been immobile and getting taken advantage of. So kind of interested to see how that shakes up. They're doing a lot of flash plays, especially for the first bloods on the bottom side for Bow Explode onto Civillock. So excited to see how it goes.
Yeah.
But I'm a believer. I'm gonna stick with In the Trees for my vote. What about you, Anti?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I actually really love YUBI's composition, right? As long as a Navi can remain relevant in a side lane, I think YUBI have such an easy composition to execute. Like, you turn off the lights with the Nocturne, dive into the back line, Galio ulti on top of that. You got the Swain ulti running, you have Zen for engage. Like, this composition is literally hit R, run at them, and win the composition while your Fiora split pushes in a side lane. So this heavily relies on Inavi. So as long as Utility Monster can get that Fiora going, then I think the edge goes to YUBI. But In the Trees have very strong individual pieces, even if their team fight isn't quite as strong as the Exodia comp that YUBI have drafted.
Anton, I don't mean to call you out here, but I heard the Exodia comments yesterday. Are you just on a Yu-Gi-Oh kick lately, or what's going on with that?
I don't know. What can I say? You know, Yu-Gi-Oh has been continually getting more and more interesting. So many more cards banned, and I, on the other hand, still despise card games. But my friends can't stop playing Yu-Gi-Oh, so I can't stop thinking about it.
That's hilarious. It's kind of hypocritical since I have a Yu-Gi-Oh tattoo. So,
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh, I played during season 1, and that is about it. So Exodia is about as far as my knowledge goes.
it's
Like
okay.
synchro summon and all that stuff, it's way over my head.
Not important, but anyway, looking at this fantastic game of League of Legends that these people have come to see here on this quarterfinals, you know, make sure you go and put your channel point betting on right now if you haven't already. It could be anyone's game, so lots of channel points could be on the table to win here shortly.
Absolutely. I mean, it's YUBI on the table, which means we're going to be having quite a few channel points involved, just as Broccoli and Navi with the graphs are going to be trading so much, getting very involved with one another's laning. And oh my god, Broccoli just going to be able to get free autos off onto a Navi. You're not seeing any of these trades back. It's going to be very difficult for a Navi to just remain relevant if you don't continually trade at every opportunity. You know, that Q is such a low cooldown. You have to make sure to hit those vitals.
Yeah, that sounds entirely correct. I think, in my experience, top lane is just this wild place, but little trait coming out here in the bottom makes a little more sense to me. I don't know how these engages go. Like Nautilus and Rel engage, and they just kind of like whack each other. And unless they're low, it's like nothing really exciting is going to happen for a while. So,
Yeah, I mean, as we've seen in the first 2 games, right? YUBI, in terms of the early game, not quite as strong as the unstoppable force that is INT, right? You know, INT is just absolutely killing it in these early games, whether it be through jungle pathing, whether it be through raw laning. And right now we're seeing that once again, where the raw laning, the only lane that's not coming out on top for INT is bot lane, which is remaining relatively even as far as the CS goes. But oh wait, hold on, Slop's taking a lot of damage here. Almost gonna make me eat my words immediately.
Yeah, almost. You know, it seems like this season, you know, we did the interview where both of the 80 carries were interviewed, so I think they both kind of took it personally. And there's a lot on the line that they're willing to play for today. So there's been some really exciting exchanges going on from the result.
Yeah, meanwhile, on the top side, you once again see Utility Monster and Bow Explode going on into the mid lane, you know, just trading top for mid in terms of priority here. A lot of damage onto Civillock will not be a kill, but pushing the Galio out of lane early is so high value.
That is true, and you know it's kind of a bit of the repeat. You know, last games they've gotten pressure from the bottom into the mid. This time they're from the top, switched it up quite a bit, and then same plan here. Utility Monster runs top on the Broccoli. So let's see what happens this time.
All right, no riposte from a Navi. All right, does manage to avoid the Q damage here, but Utility Monster still on the chase. Broccoli on the wrong side of the map. No way to get to safety here, but can you trade kill onto a Navi is the question. Is going to flash, and Navi is going to be able to secure that first blood, and YUBI going to be starting things off strong. As I said earlier, right, Navi is the #1 priority for YUBI here. As long as you can get everyone into the right position, then Navi can make things work in a sideline. Oh?
Creeping up on the back. A lot of damage.
All right, and just like that, Zenzen gonna be able to take down. He's Ultravox flashing on in. Kenny in a lot of trouble. 1 auto away, but no auto gonna come on out as Bow Explode going to look to deny Zenzen a chance at life. But Ultravox will be able to take him down. Beautiful flash out coming out from Zenzen, and YUBI going to be the ones with the early game lead. A very different story from what we've seen the past 2 games here. And just like that, they've lopsided everything, turned everything around, including the caster priorities.
Yeah, that was a fun little moment of like us, but you know, like you said, it seems to be the flip of what's going on. YUBI have learned the lesson. Seems like INT are trying the same old tricks and not quite getting the results that they'd like. And let's keep the action rolling. Oh, flash.
Oh wow, that flash was actually so unfortunate for Civillock there. You know, it just flashes just in time to try to catch out Brock Lee, but okay, Civillock in a lot of trouble here.
That's illegal.
Yeah, and right the arcane gonna come on down, just make sure that this is incredibly illegal. You know, first strike gold value incoming, as well as Pagtrop is gonna be more than happy to pick up as much of that as possible. Meanwhile, Navi, this is a huge possibility at the
Oh,
dive. Beautiful riposte.
this is a car wreck, but all right. Could have been a little cleaner, but I guess you get the job done. Let's get Broccoli 2 kills now, some plate. See if he can't hold his own a little bit easier in this lane. As Utility Monster does the bow explode reverse play, picks up the drag.
Yeah, I mean, Utility Monster, as always, going to be more than happy to pick up as much as possible on the opposite side of the map. Meanwhile, Broccoli, super happy to be able to deny a huge amount of minions from Innavi there. It doesn't really matter that Bow Explode died. What matters is that the Camille is back into the game and has the gold lead against the Fiora. Because as I said before, right, Innavi is the #1 priority for YUBI. If you can get the Fiora to a point where she can continually split push and draw Camille to that side lane, then you can really make sure that the enemy team has to fight the 4v4 at the very least, unless you want the Fiora to just take everything.
Yeah, that's true. We also see Kenny is picking up this late coal here, so currently at the 93 mark. Gonna be trying to get some gold. I imagine his role in this is a little hard. He needs the money to really do an impact
Ooh.
here.
Yeah, but you can see Ultravox just gonna continually rack up damage on this bot lane, gonna continually pick up more and more souls, just gonna try to get as tanky as possible. Does hit level 6. This could be a 2v3 in Yubi's favor here. Ultravox gonna be popping the ultimate. Kenny Hammerspike in a lot of trouble. Didn't die the last time, gonna be dying this time, and just like that, 2 ultimates committed for the side of YUBI, and finally, Zen does go down. Broccoli, Bow Explode finally on the board, but unfortunately does not seem to be able to survive past this one. The Birdio is coming down. Justice Punch inbound, and here it is, going to deny the Blast Cone, and Civilock now with 2 stacks on that Dark Seal, sitting pretty, and Anavi takes out Broccoli in the top lane.
Whoa, what happened here?
All right, just looks like he's putting down the grand challenge, and just like that, all 4 vitals procced, all of Broccoli's health depleted. It was looking really good for Broccoli as far as the wave state, as far as the items, but it seems like it's looking really great for Navi as far as the trading is going.
Yeah, it's not allowed to happen 3 games in a row, and Avi said this is my game too. I'm not gonna let you take my series from me. So really liking like the style, like in the punches thrown back and forth in this series from the players, and lot of good stuff. Maybe lost track of the Nocturne. The last play was 6 and was just right on Krugs at the good time for them. So bit of a reversal. So just a little more. Maybe INT's in their head a little bit. Maybe they're trying to force stuff without thinking it all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, like, sometimes winning 2 early games makes you a little bit complacent, but you can see Broccoli and Bow Explode going in on a Navi, so much damage into a Navi, and no mana, no way out. Broccoli gonna be able to pick that one up in response here. 3-2, just keeping this top lane as even as physically possible. The bot lane not looking too even. Ultravox very, very strong in this bot lane here. It's just about, I would, if we can look at the gold in the pocket, I kind of want to see just how far Ultravox is away from that Liandry's. Should be about 600 away, but either way, that's so much gold for this bot lane. All right. And just like that, double ulti pop. Kenny in a lot of trouble, rooted up, and Right of the Arcane going to be fully committed here, but not going to be quite in range to actually do anything other than get them out of tower dive opportunity here. Kenny in a lot of trouble trying to pick up as much gold as possible, but you can see that Ultravox is just going to continue to rack up so much tankiness, so much gold, so many items, and this should be the Liandry's Torment fully completed for the Swain on this back.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see that, and just with what's going on, I like the amount of pressure Ultravox is able to do, opens up Utility Monster to make these plays, and get the dragon. Now got the Rift Herald, so they're gonna be able to, maybe roll that into another play here soon. Maybe if we got objective timers for the dragon, double up on that
Hmm.
play. But it's looking good for Yubi. They're doing what they should have been doing in the early games a little bit better. So.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing their early games great, and this composition scales so unbelievably well. Definitely looking up for the side of Yubi here. And one thing I kind of want to know, in the top lane, we've got a little bit of an interesting item discrepancy here. Both of these champions are champions that you don't actually see go Triforce that often, but both laners have opted for it because Triforce, while it does allow you for less sustain, allows you so much damage in these early trades, so much tower taking potential as well. So you can really see the index into the split pushing for the both of these top laners.
I'm glad. I was about to ask you what that means, so thanks for going
Mhm.
already answering that for me and the folks at home, of course. But it's exciting. We see Bow explode already on the backside, jumping onto Fiora here, making sure this
Oh,
happens.
yeah, one riposte, beautiful stuff, going to be able to get the parry, meaning that Broccoli has to flash forward to try to get the ultimatum, but not going to be able to get a beautiful flash from Navi to deny that one as well. And just like that, Camille's ultimate is one thing that's essentially a guaranteed gank opportunity, but with a Navi playing everything so well, looking to take down Bow Explode here, trying to at the very least deny any extra jungle take at all, making sure that utility monster just has a huge unstoppable gold league. Rift Herald committed and dragon down. Yubi is doing so well here, and utility monster feels so good about this game.
Yeah, the pacing is just unreal, pretty much. Like you said, got the dragon, a lot committed topside, didn't quite get what they were looking for. More brawling happening here, and Navi sitting back, but I don't know. Be surprised to see a kill off of that. Just really spreading the gold lead, almost 4K completely in the lead right now for Yubi. It's going to be, on in the trees now to see if they're able to kind of do what they've done on the side of Yubi in the past and just really look for the grand play back into this game somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a Yubi game if it's not a banger. It's not a Yubi series if it's not a banger. So, on the side of Yubi right now, they're showing off a very different style of play than we've seen it before, which is, a more active early game, a more dominant top side, right? Where a Navi is going to be continually picking up gold, picking up, survivability, and okay, Pack Drop is in a decent bit of trouble here, going to be taking a lot of damage. There's no lethal opportunity just yet, though. Galio, until he finishes that first item, really doesn't have any kill pressure on the Xerath, which is why Xerath is such a good pick into the Galio here.
That's true. A lot of INT members stacked here, looking for a play, looking for something
Oh,
aggressive.
and Ultrafox going to be flashed on, ultimatum committed, and everything in the kitchen sink thrown on in. But here we go, the kitchen sink returns, and everyone coming in. 2 ultis committed, 3 ultis committed, and a double kill for utility monster, and the kill in return for Zenzen survives just barely. And oh my god, Kenny Hammerspike flash forward did not flash forward, just barely not able to get that kill. Zenzen continually living at 1 health in so many of these fights. That is a tilter and a half for INT.
That's right. A huge win for Yubi there, and it was 4v5 as the whole time Navi stuck up here, wreaking havoc upon the top lane. And it's looking rough. When you commit that much for mid and only get 1 and actually end up having the utility Civlock special return on the definitely putting a damper on the swing of plays that you're capable to do. The gold lead is slowly ballooning as it's, almost 6K at this point. Yubi just really, controlling the pace, putting the pedal to the metal, and just really looking to have a solid game 3, taking a 2-1 in the series if they can do it. I don't know if INT's going to be able to stop them on this run.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's really interesting to see all of this draft adaptation from Yubi, right? In previous seasons, Civilox Galio was something that you never saw available because it was just constantly banned away. Now that Galio's fallen a little bit out of the meta, Yubi decides, you know what? Playoffs coming around. Let's bring it back. Bring back the Birdio and Nocturne combo. Shut off the lights, and then throw a Justin's punch. Grand entrance coming on in. Right, and it's so difficult to deal with as a Xerath. You're supposed to be in the back line firing away with nothing to worry about, and all of a sudden the lights are off, you don't know where your teammates are, and you've got this giant gargoyle just jumping out of the sky, landing directly on top of you, knocking you up, and for some reason that also means that his entire team takes less damage from you.
Yeah, that sounds like my last birthday. I think just the lights off, people jumping. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no, no!
It was a dark day. So when you talk about that too, with the way that the Civil pick has kind of like usually gone in the series, and I think in history it's usually been like Galio's been more of like a starter kind of thing, and usually it was the Vel'Koz that would come in for game three on and kind of be like the sleeper pick that people didn't know what to do. And on this time when they kind of busted it out and kind of reversed the order, it's kind of interesting that INT had an answer for that, but not the more standard version of YUBI that we've seen. So
yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't blame them, especially since, the first pick Swain was something that you don't really expect to see flex. And if you do see it flex, right, why would you put it on Ultravox, right? Why wouldn't you give it to Zenzen, someone else who has played a ton of these control mages, right? So Ultravox's Swain is a pick that we're not used to seeing. Meanwhile, Zenzen looking for a pick of his own. The lights are off. And just like that, INT are going to be knocked away from this dragon. YUBI going to be going to Soul Point here, but it's not YUBI if it's not a banger. I'm not sure if having 3 dragons this early on really means enough for the side of YUBI. Meanwhile, Inami going to TP back to the top lane, meaning that Broccoli still can't pick up this tower in response, making sure that none of these fights turn into an advantage for INT at all.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I like the use of the ultimate early from Utility Monster, not really using it to engage, but like as a dissuader to really keep control of that objective. So well played on that. Again, keeping the pace going. The last few games we've actually seen, I think in the first game, Bo stole a smite from Utility, and Utility then stole a smite from Bo in the game 2. So these guys have really been kind of trading back and forth on that pride point as well too. So these guys, when they're matched, it's an exciting game, and I think this is the first game in the series where we've had a lead like this occur. So I'm excited to see if we can even that out somehow and keep this series alive.
Yeah, but right now, you can continually see how YUBI are just gonna continue to push down this, their lead. Right, that's so much gold that they've got an advantage with 5k gold at 18 minutes. Meanwhile, INT right now, their best bet is they have to start grouping up. They have to start deathballing it, right? Get Bo Explode to just run in with the ultimate. Just start looking for picks. The question is, who exactly are you going to be getting a pick on, and how do you deny the Nocturne Galio from coming in and making every single potential pick a 3v3 at the very least, right? You have to make sure to come at it with 5 people, so that way, even if you fight against 3, you're not outnumbered, you're not outgunned, and you have so many opportunities, so many champions that have the ability to use these pick tools. It's just a matter of making it all happen.
That's fair. I think the difficult thing that INT is going to find is a target to engage on like that. But let's see what's going on here. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, right now, just like we were saying, right, INT struggling to find a target. Broccoli, thought that he got a little bit of a jump onto Zenzen, but the immediate response from Utility Monster doesn't even have to commit the ultimate, which is the part that I was saying was the real dangerous part, right? Where, Civillock could have ulted in, Utility Monster could have ulted in, but even just walking straight into the jungle is more than enough, and Utility Monster ulting on in to Kenny Hammerspike, the ult and flash away for the Kaisa, going to keep him alive, but how much longer can you hold on before the Kaisa is really able to start taking people out in these fights? It's a question of, what kind of build are you going for? What kind of play style are you going for? It is going to be the Navori quick blades on the Kaisa. So you're not going to have the long range poking people down combo with the Xerath. Instead, you're going to be the one really following up on all of that poke damage. But it's a matter of trying to get Pagtropus to a point where he can really, really threaten everyone to begin with.
True, he's only sitting on one item right now, getting pretty close to his second. That might be able to put him in a better position, but just really not able to go anywhere safely with all that mobility that you talked about. And when you look for a target, it really can't be on Ultravox. He just has so much sustain that, of course, the numbers are able to be able to follow up. And Navi also going to have a lot of mobility that it's going to be a lot trickier to really pin him down. So yeah, as long as they keep playing this as the safely as they have with the movements of utility and Civlock, I think it'll be difficult for them to find the pick that they need. Meanwhile, Utility Monster seems to be really happy to just, pull the trigger as soon as he can, and even just trade his ultimate for like a bot tower. And sometimes those little plays are the little whittles away that it's going to be the game before INT realizes they've given up too much. So.
Yeah, I mean, when you're picking up the Axiom arc, it definitely makes it a lot easier to just throw out your ulti whenever it is that you want. But, right now it's a question, really. Do YUBI have what it takes to close out this game, right? A lot of the time, we've been seeing INT really in the driver's seat. So this time, we have to ask ourselves, do YUBI have what it takes to close out against INT, who are immaculate at finding comebacks, immaculate at finding opportunities. Right now, they're looking for one right here. Dragon's coming up in 20-something seconds, and they're looking for a pick in Navi in the wings here. Utility Monster just trying to make sure to back them up, but, they decide it's not worth it. There's too much time devoted. Kenny taking a lot of damage from that Galio Q, but it seems that they're just going to be giving up the soul. I don't think they're going to be contesting it.
Yeah, I thought maybe with the movement up top they might be trying to go for Baron, but I guess not. They're opting to maybe move towards some type of slow contest here. Broccoli back, he does have the teleport, so does have some way in if they want to try. Yeah, here comes the TP, moving in a little late. And
all right,
nothing comes from that one, but
yeah, I mean, nothing ventured, nothing gained, but it seems like nothing is going to be gained from the side of INT here, as YUBI are just going to continue to take everything on the map, not going to be stopping for anyone. That top lane matchup is looking about as close as you could ask for, but, Navi doesn't play it fair, and right now you're seeing a huge team fight coming in. Ultimate straight into the back line from Utility Monster, making sure that Kenny can't play the game, but Ultravox flashing in, killing off Kenny Hammerspike, and just like that, INT are routed. The ultimates just continually pushed for the side of YUBI. Pagtrop is going down, and everyone coming out alive on the side of YUBI. A clean ace, not even going to go for the Baron, simply going for that middle inhibitor, as they know in their heart of hearts that it doesn't matter what INT do at this point in the game. YUBI are so in control, a near 10,000 gold lead at 24 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the heart of hearts or the heart of the cards. It doesn't really matter, as YUBI seems to be putting those Exodia pieces in that you talked about. I just really like the patience for Utility Monster in that play. He was able to turn the lights out. He just sat in the Baron pit, waited for INT to use our resources, and pretty much just had free reign to get to that back line, uncontested as Civlock jumped down as well. So really like the communication and the way that they set that play up to really just kind of bait INT after they use the resources on Dragon and not really able to get much. So just solid. I like that. It was clean. So I imagine that right there is probably the nail in the coffin. If there was a turning point, that would have been it for INT. I don't see much of a way back in at this point as a result. But let's see what happens as they're back on the Rift and ready for what I'm going to call the final play. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, this definitely could be the final push for YUBI here. A little bit of healing reduction picked up by Pagtropus. A very nice sentiment, maybe a little bit too little too late. But one thing to note, right, this is a series, right? It's not a single game, right? It is a best of 5 that we're playing around here. So it's a question, right? Well, once you show off Exodia, Right. Bow Explode actually just going to run straight into the Exodia comp, trying to make something happen. But Kenny going to be knocked up and taken on out. No one on the side of INT going to be able to take out a single member of YUBI. No one going down on the side of YUBI. Pagtrop is the only one left alive here. And Zen, the only odd man out, as Utility Monster tries to join his friend, but instead resurrects, cursed with immortality and cursed with a game 4 on our hands here. But, you know, this is something that we have to talk about, right? Where YUBI bringing out the Exodia composition in game number 3 show just how strong it can be. But every time Yugi relied on Exodia, it went well until that card got ripped up and thrown into the ocean. So it's a question of whether or not INT can really destroy this Exodia comp in the draft, and we'll have to figure it out in the next game.
Yeah, that's true. I'm excited to see what they bring back to the table here, and like you said, for deciding how they're gonna deal with these pieces. Both of these teams are no strangers to a best of 5, so I think they've got a few more tricks up their sleeves. I'm excited to see what Game 4 brings.
That is some damage, but yes, as we've been saying, right, you know, it's a matter of how you deal.